back to Comic Book Wednesdays, a weekly series where we discuss comic books. We're your hosts. I'm Ian,
I'm Shane.
and he's Al. Um, not as good as you. But yeah, no, dude. We're back with the end of part one of Al's pick. Odd the way to say that, but Al is getting a part two of his picks just because this was a little short. Um, so Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't have my or my book in front of me. Who's this by again?
The Last Ronin, Kevin Eastman, and Peter Laird.
There we go. Team effort.
That's right.
You're good. Don't worry, brother. Um. So this. Okay. I was gonna say so. Like, it did not let me down. This final chapter, I felt like concluded everything really well. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. As far as in regards to like our main characters. I thought the like shredder suit for the bad guy was pretty fucking cool. Um, which is really fucking some really brutal fight scenes. Uh, yeah, it was it was very well done, well written, well drawn, well paced, everything. I felt like everything was tied up into a neat little bow at the end, and it even got. And I'm intrigued because it said to be continued. So we'll see. Because I mean, hmm, sorry. Actually, before we go on further, we should hear Shane's thoughts.
No, I appreciate you both. Um, so I've loved the art through this whole entire book. I was super impressed. Like we talked about it, I think last episode. Like IDW does not fuck around,
Mm-hmm.
and like reading the story, like before we get into the nitty gritty, reading the story, finishing out, like I felt like they wrapped up everything they wanted to wrap up. There's also a couple of surprises in the end that like I caught me off guard, but in like a nice way. Like there was a couple of moments where I was like, "Oh damn!" Like that surprised the hell out of me a little bit, but like I liked it. I think it matched the story, and of course, like we'll touch on those as we get into it. But like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm really glad that we read this together, and I think it's cool that this is the first thing that we've read that we all had physical piece of media for.
Ab- Absolutely. And I think I said to you before, I am so happy that I own this book. It is one of
Mm-hmm.
my favorite pieces. And let me ask you this, guys. Was this both of your first read for this?
Yes.
Oh, fuck yeah, me too. I know. Well, this is my first also. Like, what do you mean? No, I didn't read this before. No, I perfectly waited to read it with you guys. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I had started it like last year, and then I realized that we could all read it, and I was like, I want to wait till some one of us picks it, and I just put it back on my shelf.
Yeah. I was super excited to read it when I got it because like I'd like heard a bunch of good things. Like we were all chatting about it, and then I had the same thought where I was like, I have time to read this, but I shouldn't. And then I just like put it down.
Hmm. Hmm. No, but I was really glad with this, Al. Since this was your first read, also, what? How do you feel about how it concluded? Because like we both gave our thoughts.
Yeah.
absolutely did. Um, so now that we can get it, let's get into it. Like as far as like spoilers and everything, because if anyone's listening and hasn't read it now, you're lost at this point.
Yep.
You know, um, Mikey dies. You know, like he
hmm
goes out like a fucking hero. He takes out the what's his name again, guys? You're better with the names than me. Who's the enemy?
Shredder
Uh,
Light.
yeah, Shredder Light. He
Sorry, I
takes him
don't.
out, ends that feud, and god damn it, it was fantastic. But they gave him the ending that I thought they would get, and what I
hmm
thought that he deserved. Um, and you, when he dies, you do get a glimpse into the afterlife, which I thought was really cool, and
It
it
was
makes it feel like
beautiful.
everything was a dream almost for Mikey. You know, he's reunited with his brothers and his father and his friends, and it seems like he gets his personality back because it was just something that we've kind of talked about the whole time with this. Um, didn't feel like Mikey. He felt like kind of a rough mix of all of them, like
hmm
dialed up to 11.
You could say that because like the deaths of his brothers affected him so much, and I really liked Mikey's character growth because there was a bit at the end that really got to me when he was talking to his brothers and they were all like giving him crap about April's kid, and he was like, would you guys just shut up?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was like, no, you need us. And he goes, no, I don't want to hear anything from you ever again. Like,
Yeah,
I was shocked that he did that.
I was also shocked. Um, I thought he was going to get to that point in a healthier way.
Yeah.
For him to be like, no, I don't fucking need you, like, boom, like, drops him. It's like, it shows character growth, but, like, I kind of thought, like, maybe he would let go of his brothers in a more, like, less angry way. But, uh, needless, either way, like, I thought, like, that was going to happen. It had to happen. That his brothers would stop talking to him.
Yeah. And like him even writing in the journal, he I thought it was really interesting because like his brothers still kind of influenced them because he was talking about bringing, Casey, April's kid, and in the previous section that we read, like she was there, she was fighting with him, and he was like, "No, I got to do this alone." And it wasn't some like often when characters do those kinds of things, it's like very much like a macho bravado kind of thing. I didn't get that ever with Mikey. I got it more as he knows that what he's doing is purely to bring honor to his family and to avenge his family's deaths. Like
Mm-hmm.
he didn't do it as like a I need to do this. He did it as like a no one else needs to get hurt,
Yeah.
which I think is a very noble reason to do what he did.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And he knew that it was a one-way trip. Like he wasn't
Yeah.
coming back. Al?
Um yeah, Al.
No, 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 no.
What?
Al, we're reviewing the book. If someone's listening to the last episode of this on like, then that's on them. Uh,
Yeah.
I didn't say what I said because you ruined it. I was saying what I said because I was warning them because we were going to talk about it. So you did not ruin it. I take back his apology. Screw all you people for not fucking reading it.
And to the people that are interacting in our chat right now, we're doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Al, give us your thoughts, brother.
Yeah, lay it on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep, this book was worth every second. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, one of these guys. I I want to bounce off of that if that's okay, because like
Yeah.
there was a point that we made in the very first episode that didn't get recorded, but we touched on last week, and that was if you're not really a fan. Like I didn't know really much about the Ninja Turtles aside from like some cartoons that I watched, and so like going into this, I thought I was gonna need like a lot of background knowledge. And like, sure, some of the stuff we read last week, like I was a little bit like, oh, who's this robot? Like, what's going on with? I remember April, I remember Casey, but like some of the other stuff I just wasn't aware of. But this book does a really great job to where even if somebody said to you, "Oh, have you heard of the Ninja Turtles?" and you said yes, you could pick it up and read it and still get a sense of completion upon finishing the story.
You absolutely would. Would you get the same if you had no idea who the Ninja Turtles were? I don't think you'd get the same emotional response when you're like finishing it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Very
just
true.
because they're right. No, you're absolutely right. You're not gonna get it just because you don't have that rapport, that relationship with the characters. Um, but anybody who has been familiar, even if it's as simple as you watched a couple cartoons as a kid and you've seen that the old movies, yeah, right. Um, so you get that with this. It's fantastic. It really felt like um, a lot of time and care was put into this book. And not just with the writing and with the art, but like the quality of the book itself. We all have the hardcover edition of this, and it's a very solid book. It fits well on the shelf. It just feels like a quality collector's piece. Like
Yes.
anybody who collects comic books would be happy to have it on their shelf, unless they're some unless you hate the Ninja Turtles, and then I don't quite understand what you're doing here. But um, ooh, what didn't you love?
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. Well, here's my question for you then. So the characters that you love in like novelizations, any type of media really, if they go down, if they die, do you not like that typically? Like if your character, like if favorite character dies, don't give specifics. Yeah, don't give specifics. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So that right, this is its own continuity. This doesn't affect others. So that kind of lessens the blow a little. Um, but I guess you did answer my next question too, because like my next question was going to be if they're given a fantastic ending, like so, like they go out with like a true hero, like the way Mikey did in this, does that make it better for you? And you seem to have answered no, but it might be a little situational. If right, it's your favorites that you're upset about.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God.
No, well, they will. They're not going to go nowhere. Any comic book character, they're not going anywhere.
See, that brings up a really interesting train of thought, if I may add to that. Um,
Hmm.
the like I if a character dies, like if one of my favorite characters die in like pieces of media, it really depends on how the death is.
Hmm.
So like if it's a death just to like drive the plot, I'm gonna be really disappointed because like I'm gonna be that kind of nerd where I'm like, nah, they wouldn't have went out that way. That's bullshit. Like I'll probably do that. Absolutely, I know myself, and I'll complain. But if the death is like good, and like it is something that matches that character as a whole, I'm absolutely like totally cool with it. Like there's a few moments that I can think of where like certain things like that have happened, and it's always made it like worth it to like sit back and like you're with that character from the beginning of their story, or
Hmm.
like you're engrossed in their story. And so when you see one of those characters like do that kind of thing and you're like, "Oh, let's they're dying like Mikey here, like we're engrossed in his story and he chose to make it a one-way trip, but the way that he did it, like I have to sit back and be like, wow, like I can't be mad at that, can't be upset with that. Like he did his best. He did his duty.
Hmm.
Yeah, his final note.
I feel that. No, like, and for me, like character deaths, they one have to make sense. You can't just kill a character to kill a character. I think the worst author in my mind to just kill characters for no reason is J.K. Rowling. Like she is absolutely terrible with that kind of stuff. She just the last book, she's just like I want people to be upset. It's not going to progress the plot at all. It's not going to like mean anything for the character's development. They're just going to die.
Yeah.
Um, I don't like I don't like that. There are character deaths that mean things in different things, and like if I love a character and if they go out in an amazing way, and I feel something, like I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm like, what? You made me feel that response through your writing. That emotional response earns my respect because it
Straight up.
it takes a lot for me to like feel something, especially in something like a book. Like if I get a little like teary eyed from a book, you did your job right because I didn't feel teary eyed with this. I don't have a huge emotional connection to the Ninja Turtles, but I did recognize like how well it was written. Like I don't know. Maybe if we were reading like 100 issues of Ninja Turtles and every week we were just talking about how much we really love the story, and it accumulated in this book, and we started seeing our favorite characters die, and it was all canon, I'd be like, oh my god, this is fucking heart wrenching. But well,
That kind of moment.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I have a good sense of all of you where you guys are on as far as character depth goes, and it's a very big part of this book. If you know, it could make or break this book for you. If you don't like seeing characters die, if you're not a fan of that, then you're probably not going to like this book because it starts off in a really bleak place. Mm, but it it moves really well. It's
Yes, it does.
paced really good, written, drawn. I mean, it's I think a 10 out of a 10 as far as the book's concerned, and that's from someone who doesn't have a Ninja Turtle background. Like I have a little, very, very, very little. So, um, yeah.
Um,
What
there
else
was
you
only
got?
one final thought that I had, and like we kind of touched on like the endings and like some of the some of the stuff going on there.
Hmm.
The I did really like so at first I was really confused about like, oh well, Casey's got some of the mutation from being around her mom and dad, and like April wasn't going to tell her. And so like with April not telling her, I was like, okay, where is this going to go? Like clearly she's enhanced, like she can do like ninja training and she can do certain things that like is gonna make her better. And like she
Yep.
even asked April like, when were you gonna tell me? Yeah. And so like at the end, seeing her with like the new turtles, I just thought that was like a perfect like, okay, the circle is continuing. Like there will always be a family. There will always be protectors in that area. And I thought that was really beautiful.
That is really beautiful. I mean, as soon as this book, the sequel comes out, like I'm snagging it. You know it. Also, the video game adaptation for this book, as soon as that comes out, yep. I mean, and the rumors is the game's gonna play like God of War, like 20, the new God of War, like the Ragnarok and what the 2018 one, I think it was. And if the gameplay, the world set, like the traversal, any of it's the same, and it holds true to that, then we're gonna be in a good place.
So I just looked up something that I was gonna tell the both of you and adding to those thoughts if that's okay.
Hmm.
Um, July 2023, a sequel was announced. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2: Re-Evolution will follow the events of The Last Ronin and the lost years of Odin, Odyn, Moha, Uno, and Yi protect the streets of New York with their sensei, Casey Marie Jones.
Ooh, so we have the names of the new turtles.
Odin, Moja, Uno, and Yi.
Oh,
Uh,
cool. Okay. Does it have a release date?
I'm gonna look that up right now. Last Ronin 2.
Yeah, if it's out, absolutely. Um, Hell yeah, that's really cool. But as he's looking that up, final thoughts from this book, Al? Like, mm, Ninja Turtles will be perfection. It was. And if people are listening and wondering, oh, should I get it? And if I haven't been clear enough, get it, buy it. This one's worth a purchase. Honest to God. And in a world where everything is getting more and more expensive, having something that is worth money to buy, absolutely get this.
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely.
any word on the release date on the new one, or no?
Yes. So I'm looking at right now. There's several issues. So it looks like I think
Individual
it's
issues have already
I
come
think
out.
it's yeah, I think it's still going.
Okay,
Okay, let's see. 5 issue limited series. Okay.
which would be the same size as this one.
Yep. Uh,
Al. you're being very loud, my friend.
Yeah, so it looks like it's still being released. I'm probably gonna wait for that hardback to come out so I can just snag the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what I'm gonna do too. Um, a quality hardcover book just like this one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. Al, you had talked to me and Shane briefly about your next part of your pick, which would be Tomb Raider. Were you
Yep.
able to narrow that down?
It's okay.
Okay, so like the remake. It's all good, man. If we don't have to go over it on our recording, we could just move on. You know, you're good.
That's okay.
All right, well, let's end it there. Thanks everybody for listening. You know, have a good night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.